It's the Lions against the Nacogdoches Dragons, a good old-fashioned East Texas high school football rivalry coming up on Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Coach's Corner as the 2013 high school football season continues for the Lions. Coming off a win on the road, 43-30 this past Friday night at the Tomato Bowl in Jacksonville. So the Lions are now 3-0 with 2 games left in the regular season, and Coach Rickland Holmes is with us. Happy with the win, but I even saw you Saturday. You were not 100% pleased with the way that game went down either, were you?
No, because I'm pretty much sure of how our team can play right now, and I know what they're capable of. And just, the performance that we put out last Friday, it was good enough to win that game,
sure,
but it wasn't good enough to beat John Tyler.
To Jacksonville's credit, they're a much better team than 0-8 would appear to be, right?
Oh, most definitely. Coach Taylor's doing a great job with those kids down in Jacksonville, and they're getting it done. They have the talent. They know what to do. Their record doesn't show that, but they are a better team than what their record does tell.
Let's talk about the positives from Friday night. What went well for you at Jacksonville?
Offense was able to move the ball like we know that we can do.
Yeah.
The defense was able to come up with some big stops like we needed to be done. And special teams played well except for the onside kick that wasn't called. I mean, it was actually supposed to be a pooch kick, but the kicker just kicked it that way.
So your guy kicked the ball,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So he just hit the ball?
It was just a missed kick on his part, and it was just one of those deals that, hey, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid.
It's going to happen. All right. What were you not happy with? What went wrong? What needs to be worked on this week?
Just the penalties and the miscues that we make on offense and defense as far as alignment and doing exactly what we're coached to do and doing it all the time. We do it in practice. We should do it in the game. Injury-wise,
knock on wood, things are still going okay in that area, aren't they?
Yeah. We came out this game with Reggie Gibson a little banged up. He hurt his knee, but it's not anything that's substantial enough to keep him out of this week's game against Nacogdoches.
Gio McCodlister's progress this year, his numbers continue to look pretty impressive, and he's running the ball well. He had a long touchdown run the other night, and then I think a long run from scrimmage that he didn't score on. So just talk a little bit about how far he's come.
Well, he's come a long way. He's still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Gio isn't quite there where we want him to be, and we know he can be, but he is getting there. He's still improving, especially in his decision making. I mean, his throwing mechanics are where we want him to be. As far as the way where he puts the ball, that's always been on top. But it's just his decision making process that is steady coming along, but it's not quite coming along as fast as I would want it to come along.
When you say decision making process, what, for folks not familiar, what are you talking about?
Well,
say that.
That has to do with once the ball is hiked and the ball is in his hand, he goes to a progressive read versus his receivers.
And he has to do it pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, and versus what the defense is running at.
Right.
Him. And he's getting better at it. Like I said, he's doing all the little things that we need him to do, but it's just a couple of kinks in the armor right now as far as him doing it at a faster pace right now.
And all of this has to happen in what, about 3 seconds?
Oh, most definitely. Yes, and it happens quick. And like I said, he's starting to understand that, and he's getting to the point to where now things are starting to slow down for him, which makes the game a little bit more easier for him to.
You played both sides of the ball. What's tougher, offense or defense to play?
I think defense is harder to play because you're on the reactive side of the ball. You don't actually know what the offense is doing, and you're reacting to what they do. On the offense side of the ball, at the skill positions, not just the quarterback position, but the skill position is pretty easy because you know exactly what you're going to do. And even at the quarterback position, it's not as hard as defense because, you do have to go through your reads, but you know exactly what everybody's doing at any given time.
What's more fun to play?
Offense is more fun to play. Anytime you're able to get that opportunity to go in the end zone, that's always going to be fun. Defense doesn't always get the glory that the offense does get, but I'm a firm believer that, offense win game, defense win championship.
Yeah, well, you played defense in college, and so, but I know you played some offense, but you were predominantly a cornerback in college, right?
Most definitely. Defense is fun because, you get to bring out a little bit of frustration and punishment on other people, and it's legal. So
you don't get arrested for it.
Yeah, you don't get arrested for that.
When a quarterback, you talk about those reads, without going through the whole thing, what's the first thing when that ball snapped? What's the first thought that goes through the quarterback's mind? It's not who can I throw the ball to, is it?
Well, before the ball's even hiked, he scans the defense and he sees exactly what they're probably going to run against him, because that's what we've already practiced. And then once the ball is in his hand, he goes through a progressive route reading, which goes off of what he knows what routes are coming from each receiver.
Okay, so he's got to pick one pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Or keep it himself. And that zone read offense, he's got that ability also. If he doesn't like that, he's got the ability to hand it off or run with it.
Oh,
right?
most definitely. And being 6'2", 200 pounds, and being able to run a low 4.5, 4.6, that gives you the opportunity to make some big plays happen with his feet.
And again, the plays are coming in from the sideline, and he's got to take all that information in and then communicate it without huddling, right?
Without huddling. Without huddling.
Because nobody's huddling anymore.
That's where the wristbands come into play. Everybody looks to the sideline, not just the quarterback, but the linemen and the receivers and the running back. They all look to the side to get the play, and they all each know their individual responsibility as far as what play goes in. And now it's just up to Gio to make that decision on who to get it to it and at what particular time.
Have you seen anybody actually huddle this year in any of the games you played in?
Not really.
Anybody do that anymore?
Not really. I don't think anybody huddles.
The old traditional,
the real huddle
gather around.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really does that anymore. I think everything basically comes from the sideline. You may see some adjustments. Receivers going from a double set to a trip set or coming to the backfield. But other than that, I don't see anybody just actually get in that circle huddle and say, "Hey, let's call this play."
If somebody did that, would they be laughed out of the stadium these days? Or
no, they'd be considered old school right now. But with the advancement that our offenses do have, with the play calling that's coming from the sideline, the variations of formation that each team is coming out with, you have to not huddle to do all that.
You got to do it quickly. How'd the defense play?
Defense is playing better. This wasn't our best performance on the defensive side of the ball. We had a lot of mental errors, and what I say by mental errors is the ability to make plays when the opportunity presents itself. We was in the right place at the right time. We just didn't make the plays like we need to make.
All right. You got NAC. We'll talk more about NAC in a moment, but Nacogdoches has just been a team that has jumped up this year and had a really, really good season. They're a dangerous football team. Now, White House got them this week, but they're a very dangerous team coming to town, aren't they?
They're a very dangerous team. Nacogdoches is well coached. They've always had great athletes, even when the old 5A district that we did have, they always had those guys that was able to make plays, and they had that athletic ability.
Yeah, you played against them. They were in the district when you played.
Most definitely. And Coach Reyes, he's doing a great job with those kids. He came in last year just like I did. First year in Nacogdoches, my first year at John Tyler, and he's got those kids going in the right direction right now.
They beat Lufkin. They hadn't beaten Lufkin in 2 decades.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, when you read that score, you're going, oh, okay. All right, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of got your attention, didn't it?
Well, they got my attention last year. When we played them last year with all the star studs that we did have, they was able to match up well against us. We just put ourselves in better position to make more plays than they did last year. And then, looking at the progression that they had from last year into this year, because I think they was undefeated until last week. So they've been playing some real good football lately.
All right, it's 43-30 this past Friday night over Jacksonville at the Tomato Bowl, one of the great stadiums in East Texas. Love that place. Let's roll the video and see some highlights, and we've got a bunch of them from JT's 43-30 win on the road at the Tomato Bowl on Friday. Here you are in the white jerseys, blue pants.
Yeah. Just a little zone read package right here with Gio. He's going to fake it and pull it, and he goes through his progressive read as far as what he's doing at the end. And then he pulled it and gave it to Jeremy Wilson going around the edge.
He had over 500 yards, 540 unofficially, I think, Friday night as a team.
Most definitely. This is a pass play to Dontavian Gross.
One of your 10th graders.
Yeah.
Does that set you up for a short touchdown run?
Yeah, it's going to be to Reggie. We're going to put him in the Wildcat set, hike the ball directly to him. He'll do his little fake, and he'll use his speed to get to the corner and score.
Have you used the Wildcat a lot this year?
We haven't used it as much as I think we probably wanted to, because we wasn't able always put in those situations to be able to use it. So, but it's a good package to go to, especially with the guy right there that got the ball in his hand.
And also, did Nick King get hurt?
No, Nick Kane was held out of the game for team situations.
Okay,
and he'll be back this week.
All right, good enough. All right, here we go. Here's an interception One of two you had, I believe, right?
Yeah, this is by a newcomer, not a newcomer, but an old comer to the team, Jordan Caldwell. He played as a freshman. His sophomore and junior year, he was on the basketball team, and he decided to come back out for his senior year and play football. And he's a very gifted, talented kid, and he's a starter. So
yeah.
It lets you know where he stacks up at.
And have a chance to play somewhere next year, probably because he's that talented.
He probably will. He's 6'2", about 190, 180 pounds, and he can go.
Okay. Here's Gio. To who?
I believe it was a pass to Reggie. Make sure on this tight view. I think his first read, as you see when he kind of double clutched, his first read wasn't quite open like he thought it was. So then he had to pull it back down, and he threw it to Bendy. That was Rodney Bendy.
Who's quietly having a pretty good second half of the season.
Pretty good season. You know, I expect him to be one of those big playmakers, and he's starting to emerge as one of those as the season progresses.
And he's 6'4", so
yeah, he's a big target.
Pretty good target. Here's touchdown run. That's Gio, right?
Yeah.
And you also made the 2-point conversion on this, but nice run. So you make the 2. Now you're back on offense. Here's a deep ball.
Yeah, I think that's another deep ball to Rodney Bendy again. Yeah, going down the middle of the field. You know, with that 6'4" frame that he got, you would think that he,
big target.
We'll try to tell Gio to throw that ball up a little bit higher than that.
And then the touchdown to, is that a touchdown play? No, that was just right to the goal line.
That got to the 1 yard line.
All right.
And I believe this is, again, the Bendy.
Now, Bendy's a big guy. How fast is he? I mean,
he's a low 4'6", high 4'5" guy. You know,
fast enough.
He has a long stride.
Right.
And he's able to make some separation. This will be the touchdown play right here.
And this is going to be Jeremy Wilson again.
Yep. Right at the end. He's another guy that has emerged. I mean, he's a guy that played on varsity as a sophomore last year, so he's pretty much used to the action. He's getting that opportunity to make more plays than he did last year, and he's taking advantage of it.
It'll be a nice run. Is this Reggie?
Yeah, this is Reggie. You know, Reggie had a good game. You know, this is his first game. He had over 100 yards, and we gave the ball to him and told him, you need to tote the mail, and that's what he did.
Had 13 for 142.
Yeah, that's what running backs do.
I always get tickled in your day. Alan Wilson used about 12 or 13 of those guys running, including you, right?
Yeah.
Here he is. Is this Gibson again?
That's Gibson making a long run.
Yeah. Now, he did not score.
He didn't score. Play. I think he got all the way down to the 1 or the 2.
It's pretty good, though.
It is.
Did his teammates give him grief for not punching it in?
Oh, yeah. You know he got to come to the sideline. They got to say something to him because you one of the fastest kids on the team. So.
Yeah. So Gio gets the touchdown, right? Is that?
This is Gio on the touchdown. Yeah.
You know, you're at the 1 yard line. Based on the read, though, that was a good call, though, wasn't it, on his part?
That's it.
They all want to score, though, right?
Everybody want to get in the end zone.
All right, more offense. What are we looking at here? This is not a jet sweep, is it? It's just a handoff play?
I think it's going to be a handoff play.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he pitches it out.
There we go.
To Dontavian Gross, a guy that came from the slot around.
Okay.
That was a little handoff play to Jeremy Wilson where, you know, it was very well played by Jacksonville. He was just able to use his speed and get some positive out of a negative.
Yeah. Sometimes kids just have to make plays, right?
That's it. But like I said, that was well played by Jacksonville defense, you know, to sniff that out and stop it. But
But they didn't stop it.
They didn't stop it.
They stopped the original intent, but
Yeah, the original intent. That's another good play by Reggie with the ball in his hand. You like to see running backs make runs like this, you know, make that one move to get back into there where they need to go. And keep them feet turning. Don't let that one hand tackle bring them down.
And they never did put him on the ground.
Oh, no.
If I just ran him out, he ran out of room.
Yeah, I think he just ran out of real estate.
Here's Gio.
Keeper by Gio.
Now, what does he see here? What's he looking for to make the decision to?
He's reading the ends
Okay.
to see if they work upfield or they crash, and that basically lets him know what he needs to do with the ball, whether he needs to give it or keep it.
And he made a good decision.
It's another good run by Reggie. Got to make sure we keep that left tackle on his block a little bit longer. That was Adrian Harris. Another good run by Reggie.
He's just carrying the mail now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, it's the Reggie Gibson show. Put it on his back. And it's what conditioning comes into play, you know.
There's a penalty at the end of that play, but here you are near the goal line, punching it in. Reggie's going to score a 10-yard run.
Oh, yeah. Gonna let him cap it off. You know, he got us all the way down there. That's us on defense. Good pass breakup. I believe this is Greg Johnson.
Greg's one of your safeties, right?
Yeah, Greg was on the play. He's a senior safety. Here we go back on offense. And Gio decides he wants to keep it and take it for the long haul. You know, being 6'2", 200 pounds with a long stride helps out a lot.
Plus, he's hard to bring down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of loping, doesn't
Yeah.
he? He's running hard, but he's got such long strides.
That's what we call a gazelle stride. He knows how to reach. That's a great run by Ridge. I love how he used the stiff arm to get rid of that guy. As he was hitting, going towards the corner. It reminds you of one of them old Earl Campbell moves.
I was about to say that.
Where he put that pork chop out there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's special. Got some good ones.
Yeah, that was a pass play. Is that Bendy again?
Let's see. Somebody has to go up and
No,
get
that's Dontavian Gross.
Dontavian Gross, okay. Who's not a big guy.
Not a big guy, but he plays big. You know, he's about 5'9", 5'8".
Now this is Bendy here.
This was Bendy. I told Gio he threw that ball kind of low because Bendy jumped up and caught it in his stomach.
Yeah, the whole point of a fade is to be able to guy go up
the highest point.
Yeah, high point the ball, right?
That's a good play, good tackle by Isaac Warren. One of our emerging corners that played last year as a sophomore and making a good name for himself this year.
Good open field tackle here.
Yep, this is Jordan Caldwell. Good reaction, good read. And get them for short yardage. That's what you want to do as a defense.
It's an unusual formation, Jacksonville.
It's
The
an
body
empty
screen.
set, but they put 4 receivers to one side. They call it quads. It's going to be a great play by us. Jasavier Reese staying at home and playing that quarterback on the quarterback throwback.
Did he intercept it or just
No,
knock
he
it
knocked
down?
it down. He knocked it down. I think he could have, but you know, most defensive players can't catch.
That's why they're playing defense,
Yeah.
right? I've heard that
Yeah.
one before. Having said that, Jasavier Reese has had a good season for you.
He has had a good season. You know, anytime you have to replace a Tyus Bowser that's making a name for itself. This is an interception by Terry. That's making a name for itself in NCAA. You know, hey, it's big shoes to fill, but with his size 16 shoe, he ain't gonna have too much of a problem trying to fill a shoe.
That sealed the deal basically. The Terry Osborne interception. What a year he's had, huh?
Yeah.
Safety. I mean, what a year.
He has a ton of tackles.
Yeah.
He has even more interceptions to boot with it, and he's catching the eyes of a lot of college recruiters right now.
He has not, he hadn't declared anything.
He hasn't
right?
declared where he's going to go yet. He's going to have some options though at the end of the season, and what he's going to do is he's going to have to evaluate along with his family and figure out what school that he wants to spend the next 4 to 5 years at and play football.
And once it's more than 4 or 5 years. Once you make that choice, I mean, you're an Oklahoma State Cowboy.
Yeah. And that's where you are. I mean, they're going to be there for the rest of your life.
Right.
So wherever he decides that he wants to go, he needs to know that, hey, that's where he's going to spend his college student athlete career. But then after that, hey, that's going to be his home away from home.
When does the period start for the recruiters to actually start talking to the young men?
Actually, it'll be towards the end of the regular season to actually be able to get a little bit more in contact than because they hadn't really had.
We're
any
getting pretty
contact
close
now.
to the
Yeah,
end,
we're
but it's
getting
still
very
not
close
there
now.
yet, right?
Yeah, and they'll be popping in and out during the playoff times.
All right, which is always fun. Now the win Friday night gets you in the playoffs.
We're in the playoff now, but like I told our kids, it's bigger than that. Our goals are not just to make it to the playoffs every year. Our goal is to make sure we win a district championship and we put ourselves in position to make a deep run in the playoffs and let the chips fall where the chips may fall.
2 big steps for that district championship. The 2 other top teams in the district are still out there on your schedule.
That's right.
And
one loss Nacogdoches is up next.
What do they do?
They're spread it out. They love to throw the ball. I don't think they were able to throw it as well as they had been with the quarterback that they have in play now because the other guy got hurt. But they still have the athletes. They still got the talent to get it done. They remind me a lot of a physical White House team is what they remind me of.
Really? Defensively, then, are they pretty physical?
Defense, they pretty stout. They got that. I think he's a sophomore at safety, and he's a guy that won the district championship in the 100-meter dash.
Okay.
So he can roll.
And but they're going to run. They're going to throw the ball a lot.
They are going to throw it. They're going to throw it, and they're mixing the pass. The run a little bit here and there, but their main bread and butter. They're trying to swing it out and give it to those athletes that they got at the perimeters.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. That overall goal is still always, being in the playoffs is one thing. You expect to be there. But that, as Alan called it, the gold ball of winning the district championship, that's, there's two really, really fun big football games left in the season, right?
Oh, most definitely. We're trying to be the 4A defending district champions 4 years in a row is what we're trying to do. Our last year in 5A, we won the district championship. So we're working on not just winning that 4A, but we also working on keeping that tradition going and that 5 year in a row stint to where we've been district champions.
Let's talk about shift gears just a moment. There was a little bit of a controversy last week, not involving your team, but Aledo beats Fort Worth Western Hills 91-0 in a game a week ago Friday night.
Yeah.
And a parent from Western Hills accused Aledo of bullying. Should Texas high school football, in your opinion, have a mercy rule?
I think we're starting to take football to another context that we probably shouldn't take it to, and that has to do with the game itself. As coaches, we coach our kids every day to play their game as hard as they can from the beginning to the end. And yeah, as coaches, there is a code of ethics, once you get up a certain point that you don't do certain things that you've done at the beginning of the game. Like, if I'm a passing team, I get up 70-something points, 40-something, 50-something points, now I start trying to run the ball because I want the clock to go away as quick as possible. Now you talk to the other team, you make sure you say, hey, let's run the clock so that this game doesn't get out of hand like what it's going towards. As far as bullying, as far as a mercy rule, I don't think none of that needs taken to play, because now you're starting to take away the aggression, which we already taken away with the hits that, you know, you say that you can't make, and the tackles that you say that you can't make. You know, all that type of things right there is basically, to me, making the game be a little watered down right now. And, you know, and for a parent, as for a school, to say to another school, you know, hey, you're bullying my son, you're taking advantage of my child. Well, you know, when we all signed up for football, I know when I did, I know when you did, you know, we knew that game was a win-loss situation. You know, whatever team makes the most plays is the one that's going to win. And during that time period, whether it's 48 minutes or it's 30 minutes, you got to give your very best. You know, Aledo done what they were supposed to do. That their kids done what they were coached to do. They were coached to win a football game. They wasn't coached to lose a football game. And then, you know, the other points that came after, that came from second and third string kids. Now you need to really talk about not getting onto the Aledo coach, but you need to get onto the Fort Worth Hills coach. Because what are you teaching your kids now? You know, when the game get out of control, you just give it up and let them get more points.
Well, he wasn't the one doing the griping. I think he understood what was going on.
Yeah, he understands that. But, you know, when you come from a parent standpoint, you know, I tell my parents all the time, I need you to be that support system for your child. You know, I'm here to coach your son. I'm not here to be their father. I'm not here to be their uncles, their grandmothers, sisters, brothers, people from the neighborhood. I'm here to be their coach. I'm here to make them better young men, not just in football, but to get ready for society and life. And that's what this game is about. It's about giving out maximum effort and not expecting to get the great gains from the maximum effort. So a lot of people get that confused with where they think because I put out all this effort, I work hard, I'm supposed to win. Well, no, that's not the case. That's why we play the game. You know, anybody's beatable. You know, and everybody is susceptible to not winning, and some are susceptible to losing. I mean, and winning. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I kind of smiled at when I heard that in the paper. I was like, wow, you know, really. Yeah. But you know, football is football, and it's always going to be a game that, you know, win and lose. That's why I love this sport the way it is, because it can go so many different directions. Because, you know, it's not like basketball. You know, basketball bounce up and down. You know, football, you don't know which way it's going to go. You know, it's an oblong ball. So.
And finally, just what kind of game you expect from NAC on Friday night?
Tough. You know, I expect them to give us everything that they're going to give us, just like everybody else that we played all year long. We expect the best game from every team that we go against week in and week out. And that's why I preach to my kids about not going out there to beat the team that you're playing, but to go out there and beat yourselves. Because that's the only way that you're going to win and lose a football game, is if you don't let yourself lose that game.
All right, that game is coming up on Friday night. And again, it's John Tyler and Nacogdoches, and it's again two old East Texas district rivals playing in District 16 4A once again. NAC has only one loss in the district, and of course JT is 3-0. So there are district championship implications on the line at the stadium on Friday night. A 7:30 kickoff as JT and Nacogdoches hook up once again. And again, next week it's the White House game, so a couple of great games to look forward to wrap up the regular season. Coach Holmes and the Lions need and deserve your support, so we need a big crowd supporting the Lions Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium, 7:30 kickoff, JT against NAC. For Coach Holmes, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.